Hey, sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. See,
No, it was bound to happen at some point, but
no, see, because they were listening. We were talking about aliens and shit, and
now you mention it,
they
it
was
might
like,
be there.
nope. Somebody said, no, no, none of that. I'm going to get flashy thinged any minute.
Or lightning.
So yeah, so that's just made a complete mess of everything because it won't even let me upload that as a part one and this is a part two. Um, yeah, yeah, so that kind of sucks.
Oh,
So we can either go over everything all over again, which doesn't seem fair on you.
uh,
You'd be here all night.
if I could speed my speech up like I were reading out of command.
Yeah, I do one of those really quick sort of 20-second radio adverts. All the terms and conditions and side effects
Yeah.
that the drugs can give you. So hey, I'm Johnny Fox. This is Bearsuit. Lucy Dewsnap, fine artist and photographer, commissioned, exhibited, fantastic, inspiring, doing it full time for a year.
About a year, yeah.
About a year.
About July.
See, so it can be done. It can be done, kids. It's a big, scary step, but it can be done. Previously on Sniktcast, she she maybe marginally prefers dogs. She slightly prefers stripes. She doesn't like kebab. She does like Star Wars.
At least I have to write a book on. That's the starting point of doesn't like kebab is an art.
Has sadly never seen a UFO. Have you ever seen a ghost?
I think so. I don't know. When I was a kid,
Oh, yeah, okay.
me and my friend had this. It was one of those things that obviously you tell your parents and you're like, no, you didn't. You're lying. No, you didn't. But I definitely did. And my friend was with me at the time, and someone went past the window. Now, logically, as an adult, like that could have just been explained by someone sneaking past, but it was into like a private backyard, so I was a bit confused. And it certainly stirred us up. But that's the only time that I've had any kind of experience like that. And I often convince myself that it's definitely not a thing that's happened, but maybe it is. Who knows?
Maybe it is. There are definitely things in this world that we do not yet understand.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yes.
I
Close
mean, there's
like that. You never really know.
yeah. I mean, I think it's crazy. The more science we do, the more physics we do. Again, we briefly said there's nowhere near enough funding in this country for the arts. Science gets a fair bit, but if I had my way, we'd also put a shit ton more into physics, into the realm of physics, quantum physics. It's the more science we do, weirdly, I think the more science we do, the more spiritual.
Yeah,
the better phrase, perhaps. The answers are coming.
I mean, I think in my experience of that kind of stuff, interesting that you sort bringing science into it. A lot of like my focal point in uni was looking at people who integrated sort of environmental science into creative practice. And a massive part of a lot of the stuff that I was doing was like mycology based, so mushrooms, fungi, mycelium, all that kind of stuff. And if you've seen Fantastic Fungi or read Merlin Sheldrake's book, I'm going to see what that's called now. It's not. Oh, Entangled Life, that's the one. And it just talks about how we as a species and just how the world communicates with each other. So mycelium and all that kind of stuff. That's a communicator, and it talks to the trees and all the rest of that. And it's just mind blowing. It's completely crazy, and these are things that weren't discovered 20 years ago. So it's exciting to be experiencing, these breakthrough kind of discoveries, because there's quite a lot that can be done. So like in my practice, it was looking at mushrooms and how they connect to different things that we've done as humans. So we're looking at species of trees that have been damaged and felled, and certain trees that have been planted in the wrong environment in these artificial woodlands that we've made. And the fungi that was attracted to that and these circumstances that we were making, and sort of predicting what would then happen to that environment if it was left in those certain, situation of continued neglect, and the wrong planting of species. So when we're integrating things that have never seen British countryside, they're bringing new diseases over, and it's all kind of interlinked in like a symbiotic relationship. So yeah, that in itself, science coming into art is pretty massive, and the way that we can work with it, even like sound. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen any of the stuff with recording mycelium and mushroom speaking, like, and actually producing music from that. So using those little snippets and creating tracks. But I think that's a really like exciting thing, science and these discoveries of physics and different different parts of all walks of life, really. But being able to then showcase that in a way that people will interact with is hugely important.
Yeah.
People want to find stuff out if it's cool and it's approachable and it feels like everyone can get involved with it. And I think a lot of the time, science language and art language, especially when you get into theory, it becomes really convoluted and unapproachable and really sort of like, fuck you if you haven't got a degree. Like, you can't understand me.
Yeah.
And that, I get a lot of language and sort of science talk and art talk. Yeah, it's there for a reason. It's there to explain something and label something if that's what makes us feel better. But the actual language of art making is very visual, it's very universal. And the language of things like physics is very universal. But we make it very complicated, and we kind of ostracize people from, especially working class folk. If you haven't got access to this premium education and these really expensive books and all the facilities and everything else that's involved, it's not as readily available for you. And that's a thing about making things that I'd encourage anyone who's a creative person. If you're out there making stuff, then do it for a reason, beyond monetary value.
Yeah.
Like in my case, I'm always trying to find ways to work with subject matter that I feel needs a bit of help, whether that be, demographics in sort of a human behavioural type of way where I'm interlinking to my personal backstory, or if I'm sort of campaigning in an ecological manner of looking at birds' nests, for example, photographing them. I want to make it so that people can see that. They don't have to read a really, really big thesis on every single bird that's being captured. And, I like that stuff, reading those surveys, but I also don't expect everyone to want to see how many great tits have been caught in 1 month and all that kind of stuff. You need to find a way to be able to bring it into people's presence, and that's kind of what I try to do, I guess.
Yeah. But I've always thought what stands out to me as absolutely crazy. Even the most basic of us, because me, I get the whole circle of life thing.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, even in a very incredibly basic, accessible form, uh, as human beings on the planet we call Earth, we don't fit into that.
No.
So we're incredibly weird and incredibly interesting, just right off the bat, because we don't do that cycle, that prey predator, thing. We're not a part of that. We're not. It's not because we're at the top of the tree or at the top of the food chain. We're not. It's not that, because that would still be a part of things. We
I think
we just don't. I mean, we create our own. You're products of your environment. We create our own environment. We're tarmacking everything and concreting everything and interneting everything. It's wonderful, but it's not all wonderful. So we don't. If anything, if there's any other, no, we consider ourselves mammals. But if there's any other life form that we're currently aware of that's closest in sort of like behavior to what human beings do, it would be a virus.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I've always
which
thought
is,
people are quite. I've lost the word now, but yeah, parasitic, very parasitic. Human beings and whatever. It's interesting what you say about sort of we're not like other animals, because when I was writing my dissertation, a lot of it was about, and I described anything that wasn't human as other for a purposeful reason, because other is what we associate anything that isn't human. It is other, different, it's alien. And in some ways, it can be looked at as, we're kind of on as high horse sometimes as a species, of being like, wow, and we are really incredible and really, really complex. So is every species, but we have it's such a strange, like, aren't we weird? Like, really, really weird. We just kind of want to create our own category and just be like, we are not this. we are.
yeah.
We are this special thing, and we are all special and we are all important. But it's just, I just find it fascinating. I find it fascinating the way that we separate ourselves, but we also rely entirely on the other species that we live with. Sort of like everyday speech of. I work quite a lot with things, tongue-in-cheek slogan, and especially in bands, there's so many great paraphrase, just weird things that I grew up hearing, and being more agriculturally sort of involved as well, and farmers around in my life. A lot of similarities between animals and ways of describing people as lesser beings. Oh, you sit in the cow, all this kind of stuff, just as a basic.
Yeah.
And that kind of language and that way of separation, it's bizarre. It's really, really strange. It's there for a reason, and I think being able to play with language, and sort of identify species is really, really great, and sciencey sort of reasons. But it kind of feeds it for me. It kind of feeds into a lot of like, I'm better than you behaviour. So I don't know.
Yeah,
That's my
because
sort of.
we know again, really simple, basic stuff. Though it's still kind of hard to get your head around, even the most basic form. When you really, the whole building blocks of the universe, that we are, all one. We are all made up of the same stuff. You, me, those books, this poster, the sky, the clouds.
Yeah.
Out there, the the cable that's transporting the internet right now. We're all made out of the same stuff. We're all made out of universe stuff. I'm being really flippant now, but we are. So in that sense,
I mean,
we're all connected.
to go back to that book that I mentioned earlier with Merlin Sheldrake, he actually did a bit with it, talking about mushrooms and sort of how they communicate and how everything is all one. And he got the book and he basically grew oyster mushrooms in the book through spores, and turned this book into just a big piece of fruit and fungi. and that was sort of like an art piece within it, which I thought was quite clever. It was talking about a lot of the topics within the book, but it was really, really clever, and it made you feel big but small at the same time. And I think that's the thing of like a lot of the topics that I look at when I'm making art, and a lot of people making art, it's just a way of dealing with the insanity of principles of the world, because we are such a confusing and complex species, and sometimes you do just need to simplify it. And if your way of simplifying it is painting a picture of that, or singing a song about that, or writing a piece of music about that, then I think that's a healthy way of being for
Yeah.
you can get so lost.
If you could come back when you're done with this place, if you're coming back again, if you come back as another species, what would you like to be?
I think I've always preferred to. I think cats have it quite good, Like yeah. I'm talking.
The thing with cats, if you said that there's a cat here, or there was a cat in there somewhere, not looking at you because it's what cats do.
Yeah.
The thing you've got to do with this cat every day, it's easier said than done because you can't always get hold of them when you'd like to, can you? But every day, try. You've just got to check the paws for one of those. Because if cats get opposable thumbs, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Right? I'm pretty sure people are worried about AI taking over the world. I'm checking the cats.
Yeah, they
get thumbs, we're all doomed.
Yeah.
Bow to your feline overlords, people, because you won't stand a chance.
My cat, to be fair, we've got two boys in here, but is the ginger boy is very naughty, and he will get into absolutely anything. So if there'd be nothing left in the fridge, there'd be nothing at all. He'll take, like, we've got a ceramic jug with a really heavy lid on it, and if we've been playing with the laser pen and you put that away in the jug, he's seen you do that, or he's heard you do that, and he'll go on to the ceramic jug, take the lid off, and then go in and actually grab it, and then run around with it and try and make it work himself. So there's just a cat running around with a laser pen in its mouth. Yeah. They'd be terrifying with university degrees. Can you imagine?
My God. I think there's a reason the ancient Egyptians worshipped them.
But just scared.
And where did the ancient Egyptians go? They got cocky, the cats took them out. Yeah. And they're just biding the time, lying in wait.
Which is
really...
they're
letting it slide for now. How did we get onto this? I have no idea. I would be a koala.
Koala?
I want to come back as a koala. Yeah, a koala. I've said this before. I believe the koala is like the highest deified form of life on the planet. Like some of the religions, like you come back so many times, and each time you come back as something better before you reach a state of nirvana or Godhead or whatever it might be called. I think the koala is that top tier, just below the godhood. I'm pretty sure.
I've never seen a stressed out looking koala. Like they've always.
Right, check this out. So these first things first. Everybody, I'm pretty sure everybody just thinks they're super cute. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody would smush one and cuddle one, right? So that's good. That's always good. They sleep for 23 hours a day.
Excellent.
Right? The hour they're awake, they wake up in a eucalyptus tree, because that's where they live. Their exclusive sole and only diet is eucalyptus leaves, which are like right there. You've just woke up, there's a leaf right there, right? Eucalyptus leaves, which are also a known hallucinogen.
Yeah.
So for the rest of this hour that they're awake, they're off the tip.
We just
and then go back to sleep.
We should have just remained to this kind of behaviour. Right. 23 days sleeping near some kind of narcotic tree. It's gonna.
Their urine smells of peppermint.
Oh wow!
Right? So if you're cuddling this stoned, you're the koala, and this your favorite celebrity guy is giving you a big cuddle, and then you pee on him because it's time to pee because you've just got up, and that's what we all do when we've just got up past a certain age, certainly. They're not even going to mind.
No.
Ooh, peppermint. Oh, you're so cute.
Especially asparagus, peppermint's just a next.
I mean, sounds like a pretty neat life. I mean, maybe I'm just very lazy, but that's my ambition: be a koala.
I think it's relative in saying that as humans, we've complicated life far too much.
Yeah, I think after like all the complications and things that we've gone through before that, I think as a reward, to aspire to, if we live a good life, if we do good deeds, if we answer the hard questions, one day.
Just a new religion for those who want to live in a nicer climate with eucalyptus trees.
Yeah, one day you get to
become a koala.
Somewhere out there, there's a koala. Koala. It was Stephen Hawking like a decade ago. Now it's a koala. It's fine.
Okay.
So this is what a fantastic chat about fine art and photography we're having. This is what you're tuned in for. You're not paying a subscription fee for this shit, right? I'll tell what I want. It's my show, mine.
Koalas.
If I want to talk about peeing koalas, we'll talk about peeing koalas. But so yeah, right. I'm going to let you go. Because we said we'd do about an hour, and then we were rudely interrupted by the Men in Black, and it's all gone a bit weird.
Yeah, my face is starting to ache now. I've thought about this too long.
Yeah,
it's.
So, but just briefly before we go, give me, if you can, off the top of your head, if you give a shit about music, give me a couple of favorite bands or artists.
Ooh.
What are you listening to right now? What's on your current?
Do you know what? I'm really weird with music. I listen to pretty much everything.
Good.
And I'm a multicultural appreciator of all things art, really. I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a look. I think I'm quite into like 80s stuff, really.
Yeah.
Favorite. I've got a very big soft spot for Madonna. Anything that's sort of like Talking Heads, right up to things like The Strokes. Yeah, anything.
Yeah, gets my vote. And if you do such a thing, what was the last film you watched that you'd recommend?
I'm bad at naming films. I don't know. I've watched series more than films, I think.
Right. What's the last series you watched that you'd recommend? What would you recommend? I mean, it might be like a huge hit and everybody loves it anyway, but...
Yeah, I mean, the last series that I really watched was Baby Reindeer, which probably everyone knows about with Richard Gadd and everything like that. It's kind of become a massive thing. But before, went on to the whole real life part of it, it was just really excellently written. We watched it and then we watched it again just because it was so raw. Hard stuff to watch though.
Yeah. But that's good. That's what art's supposed to be, a challenge.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. I mean, obviously it's got to be fun and entertaining, but all that it's storytelling, and you've got to get the story out there. It's about exposure. It's good. A challenge is good. Challenge yourselves, kids.
1,000%.
A lot of my musical taste these days. I don't listen to much in English.
Yeah.
Except when I'm on a big 80s binge, which is like most of the time. But like if it's not, because I just feel like I've heard it. I've just heard so much English speaking music, and there's only so many patterns. Like you could probably literally mathematically work it out. There's only sort of so many syllables, so many patterns you can kind of do. So as soon as you hear something, though, like musically, it's like it's metal or it's punk or it's whatever. Quite obviously, you can just put it in that pigeonhole. But melodically, as soon as it's in a language not your own, it sounds different, and then to me sounds interesting, regardless of what they might actually be saying.
I mean, I don't really watch the Eurovision or anything like that. It's one of those things you either love it or you hate it. I'm kind of like, yeah, but it's great in the sense that all these songs come like flying to the charts and whatever, and people get to listen to music that's not necessarily the same four chords by the same band. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's in some ways for me. There's kind of like there's an element of like it's great that people are like that are enjoying something and they don't even know what they're saying and they're enjoying it anyway because it's all about melody and rhythm and we've been doing this shit since we started banging on cave walls before we really learned to speak. We've been making music and art for that matter. But then on the other hand, there's a part of me as a songwriter and a storyteller and someone who's really into the lyric side of things. The fact that you're happy enough just bopping away.
I'm not
could, like for all you know, this is some kind of insane white supremacist, manifesto, and you're like, oh, I like this one. It's great, like
you're just bouncing along to the complete inappropriate. Yeah.
That people just that there's a part of us that doesn't care if it gets your foot tapping, and then that we don't stop and think sometimes.
Something like that.
That's the power of art, though. That it is open to interpretation always and is always subjective. Whatever message you may be trying to get across in some of your work, not everyone's going to see that message.
No,
they still might really like it.
Yeah,
they might want to offer you £1 million to put it in their private collection. They're totally missing the point. They really don't know what you were aiming for.
Yeah, I'm not.
But there's something else about it that they found that they like.
It is surprising when you do a piece and you think, right, this is directly, this is a painting of a red giraffe, for example. I don't know. And someone sees a blue rhino, like, completely different. You're like, what? But you have to kind of let them out because it is,
it's like
artwork. It is open to interpretation and it's not defined by those walls.
Yeah, so. It's like you've locked yourself away for the better part of a whole year while you've worked on and maybe and scrapped and started again and chopped and changed and maybe moved from multiple mediums and then on finally revealing this masterpiece of your tortured soul that represents your damaged upbringing and the politics of the day. And somebody just goes, oh, that koala's so cute. I want to buy that picture. Yeah. Oh, that's such a cute picture of a koala. I want it.
That's the irony in itself. Really? It's effective, especially with working with like animal subjects a lot. Like going back to that bear character of being, in some aspects this ferocious beast and then also being a cuddly thing. Like that theme in itself. Yeah. The irony behind it. I find it hilarious. I really do. I find it funny that we're like that and that we can see them so differently from someone else. I think that's incredible and beautiful. Really, that's why we're all individual.
Unless it's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
who was incredibly pretty and really nice, but also not so much.
Yeah.
or for that matter, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I mean, Winnie the Pooh could be scary in some people's eyes.
Winnie the Pooh is very scary. Winnie the Pooh, look, if we've established a precedent within the within the Winnie the Poohniverse. But if he wears a t-shirt, right, but he's completely bottomless.
Yeah.
Now, if I go for a walk up the street after this to get some nibbles from the shop wearing only a t-shirt, people are going to have issues.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to be like,
With a real
hey, I'm just Winnie the Pooh in it, yo. They're not going to, it's not going to sit well. So I'm not sure
But you
he's
know,
quite as cute and cuddly
this
as.
is a Levi Strauss kind of binary opposition between it, as in, you know, this bear can go to the shop with just a t-shirt on. You know,
Yeah.
human beings, we've separated ourselves. We can't do that now. You know, maybe one day when we were in this Neolithic period or whatever, that we're running around with like leaf around and having fun, but we've ruined it now.
Yeah, I mean, they all do it. I mean, Donald Duck, it's a common thing amongst, albeit, cartoon animals that, well, we've anthropomorphized them to the point of putting clothes on, but not actually fully clothing them.
It was one of my titles within my dissertation, something about, do bears shit in the woods, and it was all about the theory around bears shitting in the woods and us not. It's interesting. You can make art.
If a bear shits in the woods and there's nobody there to smell it, does it exist?
Yeah.
These are the great questions of our time. Of literally our time here on this. You'll not hear this anywhere else.
Yeah.
This is the best. You don't get this. You don't get this anywhere else. You don't get this on Graham Norton. You don't get this kind of in-depth journalistic approach.
In the woods.
So, kids, it all went a bit pear-shaped, but this has been the fantastic Lucy Dewsnap, aka Bearsuit. If you missed the first half, tough, because I can't get it back now, I'm afraid. I tried and failed. But if something about this entertained you, or if you just want to check out some fantastic art, light up the socials. That's Bearsuit, Lucy Dewsnap, and you'll find lots of great stuff. Give it a Google, which always sounds kind of rude when I say it out loud. But look her up, show her some love, get some likes, and you won't be disappointed. You'll see some fantastic stuff.
Thank you very much.
From a fantastic person. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for doing this.
And you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as the sun sets slowly in the west, I bid you all a fond farewell. Bye for now.
Tatty bye.